Okay, now if there's no more COVID business, we can move on to Salem digital photography business. And we haven't had one of these meetings in a long time, but when the same people are doing the same thing for a long period of time, sometimes we get stale and run out of ideas, and we like to have input from people who want to do new things or learn new things. And so we want to know what kind of activities people want to do, what kind of things they want to learn, and we'll work on making that happen. So Sean is standing by with the Excel spreadsheet in hand and ready to record all your suggestions. So fire away. I don't have any particular pecking order, and anybody that's got something they would like to talk about or suggest, we want to hear.
Well, Mary did a survey a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago. That should still be available, what some people wanted to do back then.
Yeah, most of those people are probably not in the club anymore.
I'm gonna do waterfalls, star shoot, and landscape.
Okay. We went up in the gorge a few years ago for a waterfall shoot. That was a lot of fun.
Well, and Max did one just local waterfalls. Didn't you do one just in the city?
Well, we were shooting water in fountains as we practice skills.
Right, to do the waterfalls. Yeah, I think there's two different things going on then. Are we talking about workshops to learn skills or outings to apply those skills? So in other words, like doing the fountains as a precursor to going out and doing waterfalls, or not that one would have to do both, but
yeah, all the above.
Right.
If somebody wants to learn something, we'll find somebody that can teach it.
I like the idea of just setting up an event and saying, okay, at this event, we're going to focus on da-da-da-da-da-da. Like I've had kind of a silly idea of doing you pick one lens, or bring your longest lens, bring your shortest lens, and that's the only one you're allowed to use on that shoot, just to see what you can get with it. Something like that.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
A one lens shoot.
I totally do that.
Yeah, that is a good idea. And another one that reminded me while you were talking of something that somebody else told me, is a shoot where you could only take 24 pictures, like if you had a roll of film.
Right, as if it were a roll of film.
Yeah. And of course, it's the honor system, but if you go out and do that, it makes you be more selective. I kind of had sort of a thing like that. I went out to shoot a Civil War reenactment a few years ago, and my battery, I discovered, was almost dead. And
enough for 24 shots?
I didn't have a backup, so I could either drive all the way back home and miss half of the reenactment, or I'm shooting film today. So I was very selective and saw everything and it was more than 24. I probably shot 35 or so before it died. But I had to think old school film to decide which photos were worth taking. So it makes you think, and it makes you analyze your subject matter a little bit more. So that's kind of a fun thing to do too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good idea.
Your one lens idea is good because that teaches you what that one lens will do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think those are great activities, but for me, I know it would be helpful to have something like maybe time before those activities to really learn more. okay, so if I'm going to be using my wider lens, let's say, or for people who aren't familiar with what am I going to be trying to do? Am I going to be trying to get foreground interest? It's going to not be compressing, long lens will compress things, but somewhere an educational piece prior to just going out and doing it. That would be helpful, sort of a workshop, a half hour, an hour of instruction, and then let's go out and do this is, for me, would be really helpful, other than say, okay, here's your lens, go do it. Because then I'm just taking lousy pictures with a lens I don't really understand.
Of course, part of the reason for going out with the one lens is to learn the process. To go out and make mistakes, make lots of failures. I mean, that's, and hopefully find out what the success is. So that's part of the reason, I think, for what John's talking about is it would be ideal to pick something that you've never used before and go out and find out what you can do with it. If you're a Nikon shooter and you have a 35mm lens and you give it to somebody that never used that and they hand you a 90mm lens and you've never used that, you're both going to learn.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I just think it would be additionally helpful for those who wanted it to have an introduction, as it were. I don't, and maybe that's just my feeling.
I think that would be helpful too. If we could have, just a primer, maybe half an hour of just, if you're using a wide lens, here are the kinds of things that you want to think about. If you're using a long lens, here's some of the, limitations or advantages, pros and cons. Just something, especially for some of the newer people. I mean, we're assuming that everybody's experienced and knows how to use their lenses, but we don't. I just bought a new lens and I don't know what to do with it yet.
Well, I think I understand what you're saying. Well, first of all, of course, I want to know what kind of lens Mary bought, but for me, I think I would team it like this. I would say we're gonna have a 105 challenge, okay? And before we go out and do the 105 challenge, maybe we could talk about depth of, for example, because for me, that's what a 105 is kind of about, is depth of field and bokeh. And then let's go out, we're going to try this. So, but I will tell you that I've taken about 25,000 bad pictures because it takes you a while to figure out depth of field with that lens because it's persnickety. But that's what it's about. It's just going out and taking a lot of bad pictures and then coming in and talking about it and saying, okay, this is why. And then next time you kind of know what to do. Does that make sense? Is that what you're asking? Is kind of talk about something like that and then go out and try it?
But I don't think it needs to be done. It can be done after as well. I think it's still a good idea if, you're talking about composition or depth of field, to give that up in front and not as an assignment, but just to be conscious when you're going out.
Yeah. I get it. I would talk about it before and then go out with the lens and then say,
and then
all right,
come back and regroup.
Right.
But at least make it a learning thing, because otherwise I can just go out and look at my own bad pictures and figure that out. But if we're doing this as a group, it's also, or not figure it out. I can just keep taking bad pictures. Maybe I get lucky with some and then have to figure it out. But again, it's that, okay, do I want something in foreground interest? Do I want something midground? What are the advantages of using this lens over another lens, and what situations would I choose this lens for?
Right.
And not just stumbling around doing it by trial and error. We have enough people with expertise. I'm still going to have trial and error when I'm doing my own stuff, obviously, but it still can be expertise. Or, okay, let's do wide angle close-ups. Let's do something a little different and expand, maybe for some of us, what we know or don't know, or what we do or don't do. That would be my idea of making it more of a workshop as opposed to just an activity or a scavenger hunt kind of thing.
What I was thinking is that maybe what we're really talking about here is two different activities. And what we ought to have is a lens lab where people bring in their lenses, their camera and their lenses, and we have something set up like a measuring tape that what I'm envisioning is like kind of a test lab where everybody puts their camera exactly on the same spot, and you've got a measuring tape or a target, some way so that you can try your different lenses, take photos, and actually see what your depth of field is at some of those typical settings that you would use in the field, and have people talk about and really do a review after we tested some of these lenses and put them up so everybody can look at them. Well, this is what you get with this camera at this focal length, so that people have a better idea of what their lenses will actually do, and then do the one lens photo shoot, go out and actually take photos with that lens. I don't know.
When we go out, a lot of times it's a group shoot, but we get there and everybody goes in a separate direction. And a lot of this helping can happen best if people stay together in a group. Now, I know right now, COVID's kind of hot, and I just changed a group shoot into an individual shoot. But looking forward, seems there's an advantage in staying together.
Well, I'm also thinking that during COVID, we could do this sort of as a Zoom thing beforehand with someone talking, and, you, Max, because you're doing this, and because you're so good at what you're doing, and talking about what we would be doing were we all together at Minto Brown or in Independence or in Silverton, or with one lens. Look for these kinds of shots when you're on a walk like this. Look for the architectural shots, look for the street shots, look for people, try to get movement, just sort of what we should be looking for, what lenses we would want for certain things. And then say, okay, we've had this discussion for half an hour. Now you go out and do an individual shoot, because we're not getting together right now for COVID, but maybe as a sort of a half-hour prelude, people could have the opportunity to ask questions at that point. It's not just, necessarily a lecture.
It's a good idea.
But do that and then say, okay, now, go out and shoot and post your stuff and we'll take a look at it. And let's see if, how you use that lens. Was it an effective use of that lens? Or would this shot have been better had you set it differently?
Right, exactly. Or you could
combine it with critique, as it were.
Yeah, you could just do, like, if we're not going to get together, which is probably going to happen pretty soon, or we're not going to get together, is, get together, do Zoom critique, run through the pictures. The last photo class I took that I thought worked pretty well is we went out, we had a little lecture beforehand. They talked about, these are the techniques we're going to work on. Then we went out and the person sort of went around, they walked around to where each person was working, and they just kind of checked in, and they said the person who was teaching, that worked best. I don't like shooting with a mob of people, because number one, you're not going to shoot anything, and who the hell wants to see the same picture from 20 people? You just don't. So you want people to kind of fan out and shoot different things. And so the person sort of just went around and they kind of checked in with people. And then later, we all got together, we did a Zoom thing. We went through, everybody picked out their 3 best, and then they went through and critiqued it. And that was really great.
And that's the kind of thing I've been thinking of. And not necessarily now where somebody's going to be checking, because we could be in different places doing this. But that same kind of thing of start off with a teaching moment, a teaching learning moment, and then come back.
And you could totally do that over Zoom.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Totally. This is totally doable over Zoom. And I even feel intrepid enough, I could probably do a macro one, but or close focus wide angle or something like that. But I mean, that's what I would do. And I just did a little Zoom teaching thing with using a fluorescent light underwater, and it was great. And I had 56 people on the class.
Wow.
And it works, but see, it works out great because I had 56 people from 3 states.
Yeah.
And everybody was able to see the class. People went out and did the dive. They came back with their pictures. We looked at the pictures. People only did 1 picture, okay? And then we went through all the pictures and we talked about what to do, and I was happy. It took 2 hours. It was great. Everybody was happy.
The whole thing took 2 hours, including the shooting?
It was an hour of just, let's talk about the light, how it works, what you're going to use it on, because only certain things here fluoresce, okay, underwater. I mean, if you go to the tropics, a lot of things fluoresce. Certain types of coral fluoresce at night if you use this black light. But here, there's only 3 different things that fluoresce. So you got to tell people, okay, these are the 3 things you're looking for. Otherwise, you're just shining a black light underwater going, nothing is lighting up. I got ripped off for the light. Okay, so you kind of have to show people, okay, you're looking for this anemone. So once you tell people what they're looking for, then people are like, okay. And because the idea is you're going to take a picture of it, right?
And then how long did they dive for?
Well, that depends on, where you're diving and blah, blah, blah. But then you also have to tell people here's some sites that you can go and dive where you're guaranteed to see these things, which I know all these sites. So I just tell people, look, you're guaranteed to see it here, here, and here. So you just tell people where to go, and then they go and they dive it. So then everybody comes back, and everybody, of course, saw these things because I know they're there because I've seen them there. And then we went through the pictures, and it was about 2 hours. So I'd say 3 hours total plus me part-time putting the class together. I say probably all together, maybe 5-6 hours.
And that included time for people to do the shoot and process their film?
That's not including them driving to the dive site, because you got to drive up to the Hood Canal, and that's 3 hours.
No, I'm saying, but you did the class first, then they went diving, and how much later did you come back together?
Oh, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay, got it. So there was a gap of time. You didn't do the whole thing in a 3-hour time frame.
No. First we did
Got it. Okay, that was my question.
Yeah, first we did an hour, and then they had 2 weeks, and then
to come back so they could dive and process and submit.
Correct.
Got
and
it.
then you had to submit your stuff by a certain time, and
Got
because at least a couple of days to put everything together, and then we basically just went through it, just like at critique, and then talked about the pictures, and everybody was happy. And the best part of all is that we raised a crap load of money for coral reef restoration, and it was like $650.
Good. I think that sounds like a really good model.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we don't have to wait 2 weeks, but because we're not doing, it's not quite the same if you're going out locally shooting a fountain or shooting something local. But
right.
I think I like the model.
I would encourage you to charge money, and this is why. Because I just read the psychological study, and I think this is true, that if people pay for something, that they're more likely to show up and attend for it, and it has intrinsic meaning because they paid for it. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
So I would charge a nominal amount.
As club members, I'm not sure that would fly, but I think that's another idea. I mean, if it's a club doing the class, I'm not sure we could do that. We'd have to.
I'm telling you right now that 3 hours of my witty time is worth $10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So what do you guys think of that as a model?
3 hours of lowest time is definitely worth $10.
Max, is your time worth $10? I think so.
And his time's worth 20.
At least.
Oh, I'm thankfully at a point where I'm not charging for my time anymore. And that's a really good step.
So maybe we could come up with something where different people could do that kind of thing. So it's not all on Max, obviously.
Yeah, we do need to get more people into the scheduling. I've been trying to put up one thing a month, but it would be really nice if people picked up some other things. Things I've had in mind is, Shrewsbury is coming up, but I'm afraid to go there because of COVID, so I'm not scheduling that.
When is Shrewsbury?
Shrewsbury is a Renaissance fair.
Oh, I know. When. I didn't know if they were going to have it because of COVID.
Mid-September, about the 12th, I think it's on. The McMinnville UFO festival is
Oh,
an
that is mar-
absolute hoot. But again, it's a group activity, and I'm not going to be scheduling that because of COVID. I've been working on a barn shoot and kind of got put on hold during the clear weather, but that's something that will be coming up in the fall.
What kind of shoot? Oh, barn, you said? Barn,
Barns.
B-A-R-N, right.
If a person is interested in shooting Milky Way, tonight's going to be a wonderful night. The moon is in the right place and the sky is pretty clear. It's a little warm as far as atmospheric conditions, so there's going to be some diffusion, but it's going to be one of the better nights you're going to get for the next, few days.
There's also a meteor shower tonight.
And
Yeah, the
and-
Perseid meteor shower starts tonight.
Yeah.
Time
And
to go
it-
out to Basket
air-
Slough. Huh?
Good.
Time to take a
Well-
ride to Basket Slough.
Can I make a suggestion? I mean, I really think this would be very helpful. All right. And I think this is kind of one of the things that is good for us to do as a service to members. We don't have to sponsor these things, but it's helpful if we put things on the Facebook page and say, hey, the UFO festival is these dates. Okay. You want to go and take pictures? This is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity to take pictures. We don't have to make it a club shoot, but I think making people aware of that is a good thing. Like Renaissance Festival. I didn't think they were going to have it this year because of COVID. If they're going to have it, I might go to it. It's outside. It is fun. I usually dress up for it.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
an
that's a
air
good
show
idea.
coming up too.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea. Just events that are around, whether it's a photo group shoot or not, just events that people can go into.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A calendar, a local calendar of Salem
Out.
photo ops. Yes,
Yeah.
regional photo opportunities.
Mary, did you say an air show?
Yeah, there's the air show of the Cascades. I was just looking it up last night. Where is it? It's in East Oregon.
Oh,
Put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, it's less than a 3-hour drive from here.
is that do they use the Redmond airport?
No, it's a
Okay.
different one. I can't remember for sure, but yeah, it's the
Okay.
International Air Show.
No.
And
Matt,
it's coming up the end of this month, I think.
is there a
Okay.
calendar on any one of the Facebook pages, so we don't have to do yet another Facebook page? Is there a calendar that we could just put these things up on?
There's a calendar on the meetup site.
Let's do
There's an
that.
events thing on the photo discussion, not the photo discussion, but the club discussion meetup page. That's where I've been putting events.
Yeah, but those are the club events as opposed to just a calendar of things that are happening.
Just
Yeah,
post.
there's a calendar, I'm sorry, there's the events page that Max was just mentioning. But as for a calendar that you can just, like you would have on your wall type of thing, I don't believe there is one. I don't see one. I haven't seen one in the past. I'm looking right now and I'm not seeing it. So if anybody knows of one like that, and this is, you go ahead and let me know, please.
Yeah, because if we just put it on a discussion page, it's easy to miss. It's just part of a discussion as opposed to, gee, I wonder what's going on this week. It'd be nice to see a calendar of events,
Yeah.
photo op events.
We could
Yeah.
do a Google calendar set up in the room.
Would that be,
Oh.
can you do a public Google without it becoming everybody's personal Google calendar?
I don't have the knowledge on that.
You know, I don't want to import all of these things into my calendar particularly.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. Just post stuff on Facebook when you hear about it. Like if David Barker's on this call, David Barker put a really cute picture up of the Mermaid Festival. So I mean, just a heads up. Like
I'm just saying that's easy to miss. It's just easy to miss.
on
And
Facebook.
if you say, gee, I'd like to do something this week, I have to go back through all the discussion stuff to see if there's anything we can put up there. That it would
That's
just be nice if there was some sort of calendar we could do.
Well, what if we did just list them as events on the Facebook page? That would preserve a list that people can
Yep.
find. and just
Sure.
designate it as something that's not a sponsored shoot, but
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Just really denote which ones are our group events versus which ones are photo opportunities.
oh,
Yeah,
we
just put
could
it on the
say that
events
when we
page.
list them.
Good idea,
Mm.
Matt.
Yeah.
Max, good idea. And then it should be, can anyone list them? Or does that have to be, how would, can anyone, I don't know if anyone can access that to list them on the Facebook page. Or if it would have to go into the discussion and somebody watching the discussion then put it on a calendar.
And which Facebook page are we looking at?
I would think the
I don't-
discussion.
I
think
don't get on
discussion.
Facebook unless I have to, so I like to know which one I'm going to.
Well, there are two pages that are important, Mary. One is the discussion page for the group. The other one is the photo sharing page. And both of them are worth visiting, or at least keeping an eye on.
So I think this would go onto the discussion events. But I don't know who has access to put an event on that. Whether it's only the managers of the page. In which case someone could put it on, anyone could put it on the discussion, and then hopefully one of the tech guys, our tech crew could keep an eye on that. And then if they saw an event in the discussion, put it onto the events page.
Matt,
Would that be
you'd
doable,
be-
tech guys?
Matt, you'd be the one who would know about this, but if it's possible to set that up so that anyone who's a member of the page can schedule events, that seems to be a good way to approach this.
I'm looking at it right now. Just see if there is a way.
We've got people on that page that aren't members of our group. I don't know if we want them having control over our page.
Now, I would think that if we have people reviewing it regularly, when it comes up, one of the tech people, they could just take it from discussion and then put it into a calendar.
Well,
If
they're not
that's
full-time
doable.
employees. We don't want to ask too much of them.
No, but just, occasional go through, right? Or any of us, I guess.
What's wrong with the
Any of
calendar?
the
on
organizers could do that.
You can put anything. Sean used to do that on the meetup page. And she would go through and regularly find everything of interest. The entire calendar would be filled up with things to do on that day. I don't know
That's
how
what
much
we're-
work she put into it, probably more than any reward she was getting, so she quit doing it. But that's we're all members of the meetup group. Put it on the meetup calendar. It's already set up to do everything everybody is saying they want. Then if you want to find something to do, you log in the meetup and there's the calendar.
That would work. If we can all do that on Meetup, that would be great. Then we don't have to use the Facebook page for that. That works for me.
Yeah.
But only organizers can get on the calendar, I
That's
believe,
right.
on Meetup.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's open to every member.
It's not.
So do
Well, then you're in the
members
same-
just
then you're in the
forward
same
something
boat.
to an organizer?
So if someone's so Mary, for instance, is not currently an organizer, and she just mentioned this air show, and then John looked it up, and it's in Madras.
And Mary can email the organizers or send a message through Meetup and say, hey, put this on the calendar. It's simple.
Yeah.
And then one of us do it.
I don't think there's going to be that many events coming in that it's going to put a heavy workload on anyone.
No, and I don't. And we've got a calendar. Use the calendar. I think we're spending a lot more time on this than we need to.
All right, let's figure it out, and we'll see when events come up. We'll do a test event, Mary.
I'll send you an email.
Woohoo!
What would you think about a coast trip, a day trip to the coast?
Right now,
Well, sometime maybe October. October is when it's really nice over there.
where are you thinking?
Oh, just Lincoln City to Newport.
We should, boy, October, I don't know. Scott, what'd you think of Port Orford?
I loved it.
Wasn't it great?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Well, I'll tell you, Port Orford's about 20 times nicer in October because all the tourists leave and it's not as windy, and it's also cheaper too.
It's also hard to do on a day trip.
No, that's why I'm saying do it as a weekend trip. It's really, there's so many nice places to shoot down there, and there's no people. You don't have to worry about any people in any of your shots, and there's really great haystacks, and there's lots of stuff there for all kinds of abilities. Like there's flat stuff, there's rocky stuff, there's sandy stuff, there's hard to do stuff, there's easy stuff.
And that's what we would need to talk about before we went out. This is the easy stuff. This is the hard stuff. There you go. There's your pre-shoot lecture or class or whatever right there.
We see a lot of weekend trips, but I would definitely see a weekend trip is also a kind of thing where, you know, there would be, I think, you know, we used to do that weekend retreat thing, and which I was always gone because it was on my birthday, and I usually go diving on my birthday. But I mean, we used to do those, and that always looked like it was really super fun.
Oh, I just saw John's travelsalem.com comment on events. That's a good idea, John.
Has anyone tried the Glimpse app? I set that up and made a spot for our group so that we could follow one another when we're in the field. You know, it doesn't matter so much when we're all in the same place, but if we did a coast trip, it would be really helpful to have some way to stay in contact.
Yeah, I did that when we went to Independence. I didn't use it, but I have it on I have the app set up.
I have it, but I haven't used it.
Well, my question was whether it was successful or useful. I was just trying to find out.
It wasn't successful for me, but that was just me probably.
And I just stayed with you, so I didn't have to look for you. And then they're back to things like portraits instead of field trips. I did speak to a acquaintance of mine who is a photographer, wedding photographer here in Salem, who said he'd be more than happy to do a workshop on portraits and setting up group portraits and individuals when we get back together. I don't know if that's a Zoom kind of thing. Using each other as models, using this group as, you know, who might be at a function or an occasion. I assume a lot of you have done this also. I never have. Portraits is not my bailiwick, so certainly something I would like to learn about. I didn't get as far with him as finding out if there was any fee for his service. I think he would volunteer it, but I'm not sure. But that's another workshop I know that I'm certainly interested in doing and would like to. I'm not into necessarily hiring pretty people as models, you know, hiring the models. I would rather shoot us and each other because most of my friends and my family look like us. They don't look like svelte 20-year-old models. So that's another possibility for workshop.
Sounds like a good idea. We used to do help portrait every year. Of course, last year.
Yeah, but that's still not. That's not the same as sitting there really learning how to do. I mean, that was helpful and it was great. But
well, you didn't let me finish what I was saying.
I'm sorry.
A lot of people got instruction during that event,
right,
because we had Nate Smith, who was very good with portraits, and he would go around helping people. I don't think, well, if we're going to do it, we're going to have to find another place, because I've been trying to contact the Croc Center and haven't gotten any response. They changed people out there, and this new lady that's running things is not as good as the one who left.
There was, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I think that kind of workshop would be very helpful, and I know a lot of people would be interested, because I see people's pictures from their Christmas party or their kid's birthday party, and a lot of them are subpar because they don't know anything about lighting or posing. So that's something a lot of us do need to learn.
I agree about the help center. There was also someone else other than Nate who was there last time we did it, who was really, really helpful. And I'm not even sure who that was. But it still couldn't take the time enough to really get involved as, this is really, why are you doing this? What's going on? So I'm sorry I cut you off, but that as much as that was helpful, I think an actual workshop on, here's your group of 5 people, how are you going to pose them so they're all in focus kind of thing.
I agreed with you. I'm not arguing with you, I'm agreeing.
All right. So it's a matter that I think would have to be, I don't know if we could do that on Zoom. I think we have to wait till we actually get back together. Yeah, exactly. So that's got to be a while.
Yeah, and related to that, I'd like to learn how to use a flash properly.
Yes.
I mean, just how to use I cannot program it. I don't know what all those little symbols mean. I have no idea. I just stick it on my camera and hope something works.
And also when to use flash. It's like, how to get it to be most effective, not just when you're in low light. How to use it artistically, not just for light.
Yeah.
You can use it to overpower the sun. And take
exactly.
They say don't shoot at noon. You can shoot at noon with a flash. You get very good pictures.
Yeah, that I'm all for that too. And that's something that we might be able to do if someone could do that on Zoom.
That probably ought to be in person also. But I was thinking maybe, just how do I use my flash is kind of too small for a workshop, but a tech workshop, you got a gadget you bought and don't know how to use, bring it in. We've got somebody that knows how to use it. Because
I got a whole closet of stuff.
Well, we've got people like Max and Rick and Matt that all have a garage full of gadgets and they know how to use them all. And they're all very good. So yeah, we could do something like that. That would be fun.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, but until we get back, are there other things we can do on Zoom in the meantime? Because we don't know when we're getting back together here, guys.
That's true. I don't know. It's something that we haven't done in a while, and Scott's asked me about it a couple of times. I scheduled a few hangouts just for us to get together and talk about stuff like that. I can schedule another one of those. I also did one that was Sony specific. We could do a Nikon, a Canon, maybe a Leica if Rick can find anybody else that has a Leica.
Oh, great. I could be the only person at the Nikon one.
No, we got.
I don't know. It looks like Max is shooting Nikon from that camera.
Matt shoots Nikon.
Yeah. I think a lot of you shoot Nikon, don't you?
Yeah, we got a lot of Nikon shooters.
Probably the only.
Well, if you want good
I have 3 Nikon.
Yeah. Could somebody do a Lightroom workshop again? Because it has changed so much. There are so many upgrades to it. I've been away from it for so long. I opened it up and there are all these new things that I'm not familiar with anymore. It's changed so much.
Well, next month's monthly meeting, I'm leading it from right here at my desk in front of my computer, and a fair amount of what we're going to be doing is in Lightroom. So you might pick up some things there.
Well, I was just going to say that the only Canon shooter would be me and nobody else. So at a meeting of one.
Paul Sudds, if you can get him to come to a meeting.
Yeah.
So, what else? Anybody else got something? No.
I just was going to say it would be nice to just have a chat session on Zoom. That would be nice.
Is it possible to have a Zoom meeting without a cat session?
I'm sorry. Kenny wanted attention. This is my sister-in-law's cat. I'm cat sitting while she does cancer treatment.
I wasn't being critical. I was just making an observation that it's impossible to have a Zoom meeting without a cat popping up.
Oh, that's right. I guess we have had quite a few of those. This time it was my turn.
Yeah. Usually it's me. I don't know where he is. He must be bugging Sean.
I'm wearing mine today.
And you're back.
And background. Yeah, I'm surrounded.
Here you go.
I have to borrow one.
I've been trying to send her pictures every day. I take pictures of her cat. I usually take them with my phone. I wouldn't say I was a great cat photographer.
That could be a workshop all in itself.
Yeah.
They don't want to cooperate.
No, they're worse than a dog.
Yeah.
I think dogs are not too bad. You can say sit, stay, that kind of stuff. You can't do that with these kitties.
You know, it is a good idea to have a pet shooting workshop for cats, but also going out to the dog park and shooting dogs. A lot of people would enjoy that.
Especially if you don't like dogs.
You use a telephoto lens.
Yeah, they prefer that you shoot them with a camera, John.
Yeah, and you can see how bad you can make them look. It's like, that's an ugly dog picture.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
How about
A few years ago, I helped Eric Schumann shoot a whole bunch of golden retrievers for his golden retriever rescue group, and they made a book.
Yeah.
My payment was I got a copy of the book, but that was a ton of fun. They didn't always want to hear my suggestions. We were out in this park, and we were talking to this lady, and I had noticed there's a small slide down there, and I said, "You think we could get him to go down the slide? And I think this would be a good shot." And Eric said, "He won't do that." I said, "No, how do you know?" I said, and the lady said, "Well, we can try." That's okay. The dog came roaring down that slide and jumped right toward the camera. Great shot. It's my favorite shot in the entire book.
Wow.
Dogs will do what you ask them to if you're nice and you got a treat.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk about elections?
We do need to talk about election. Thank you. We got elections coming up. And up for election here is, I looked it up. I thought I wrote it down. It's president. Crap. I have to look at the bylaws. Talk among yourselves. Let's see here.
President, Secretary, Treasurer, Education.
President, Secretary, and
Treasurer, and Education.
Okay, so me, Sean, and Madeline. If any of you would like to run for one of those positions or know anybody that would like to run for one of those positions, I think the bylaws say we're supposed to appoint a nomination committee. So if you would be interested in being on that committee, shoot me an email. If you're interested in running, know somebody that's interested in running, shoot me an email. The election will be in December. I think we'd make the nominations in November. So yeah, that's coming up pretty soon. I think that's good enough, Matt, and do we need to discuss more?
I think we need another hour or so discussion on it, just to make sure we got everything covered.
I got to eat sometime tonight, but of course I got clothes in the dryer. Okay, so we got discussions, we got workshops, we do have some good things I think that came out of this. I would like to hear, Larissa, are you still there? I would like to hear from you. You're a new member of our group and would love to hear what you joined the group to learn. Maybe we can set up something special.
I think I got it set up right. Oh, hi.
There you are.
Hi, I'm Larissa. I'm just kind of getting into photography, and so I know a little bit. I've always loved it, but I'm excited to learn.
Oh, okay. So you just want to learn it all.
I do.
Actually, Sean and I, and my wife and I have a beginning photography workshop. And we're in the process of reworking it, trying to update it a little bit. I don't know if it's something we might be able to adapt it to Zoom. I'll play around with that and see if I can, and we'll try to get that going.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Welcome, Larissa.
Thank you.
Everybody say hi to Larissa. Be nice.
Larissa, what kinds of things do you enjoy shooting most?
Maybe landscape and portrait, probably most. Yeah. But I'm excited. I kind of want to just try it all.
Okay.
What kind of camera do you have?
I just bought a Canon. It's the Rebel T. I think it's T4. I'm not 100% sure.
I started with Canon Rebel.
Yeah, that's how I start. Yeah, I started with a Canon Rebel too, and I really liked the Canon.
Yeah, I like it.
Did it come with the two lenses? Did you get the kit with the two different lenses? Yeah, that's really helpful.
Yeah, I did. So I've been taking lots of pictures.
Good.
And I got Photoshop, and so I've been kind of playing with it a little bit, but I have not mastered it.
Well, there isn't anyone who's mastered Photoshop.
As we're sitting here, I'm writing up, something that we were talking about earlier, just like real simple editing. So I'm going to start trying to do a workshop on that. And
But
do
you're
a
in
real
the
simple
right
editing
place.
workshop.
This is a helpful group and a fun group. At least we try and have fun. And there's not judgment. It's a matter of, whatever we can do that's positive. And we do schedule some good outings. I think you'll find you get your $24 worth over the course of a year.
And also there's the critique group, which is the next Wednesday of the month. And I found that really, really helpful. It's a smaller group. You can submit 2 photos and people will tell you what works and what they think might be an improvement if they see one. So, that's a good way. I find that really, really helpful for my own growth as in photography. So you might want to drop in and join that one too.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Is it just like any 2 pictures? No,
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Cool,
Nope, it's open. No parameters. There's, people do all sorts of different things.
Okay, cool.
A lot of landscapes, because a lot of Oregon photographers are landscape photographers. A lot of birds, a lot of landscapes.
Yeah, you'll find the information and the link to it on the meetup site.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and basically it's all kinds of stuff. And so, just kind of bring whatever, let's say you take a whole bunch of pictures this week and all you do is just submit 2 pictures and we put them up and then we go through them and we talk about them. And, sometimes it's like a little game. You kind of try and guess whose it is, but I think what you try to do is fool everybody and sort of shoot out of your, if you shoot one thing all the time, you try to shoot something different and try to fool people, so it's kind of a challenge. So you should push yourself, but it's good. You should come. You would like it.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
You see some interesting things. Mary should come too. And
I'm thinking about it.
You should come, Mary. You shouldn't be intimidated because it's good for everybody.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's intimidating.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody.
No, it's just scheduling.
But sometimes people are really honest.
Yeah, should be honest, but I think we're all really nice too, and that's
we
what's
are.
important. We're not mean, and it's not like we're gonna get thrown out or something. But
and Larissa, you can come to the critique without submitting pictures.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you can do that too. And then you can just talk. And then you can,
Yeah. You know,
Okay,
yeah. You don't have to submit pictures. You can just come and watch. That's
and participate. You know, say what you think of the shots or what you like about them and what, you know, might be an improvement. And Laura will inevitably say, try the dehaze tool.
Try the dehaze one.
And if you take a landscape, Laura will inevitably know exactly where you were because she knows landscapes better than anybody I know.
Well,
not that I know that many people anyway. I've only been here a few years.
And then if you see any picture of mine, you will say, you know, you should really straighten that.
Oh, that sounds great.
And my pictures usually get things like, I'm not really into that kind of photography. I seem to get that a lot.
Dare I ask what you're taking pictures of?
Usually not landscapes. Usually not landscapes.
Well, this has been a good meeting. I think that we made some progress. I'm going to go get me some supper here, but thank you.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I haven't had supper either. So if nobody else has got anything to add.
Well, other than I need to come over and pet your cat throughout the day to lower my blood pressure at work. But, you know, I need to borrow one of you guys' cats, especially today. Oh my God, I need to calm down. So,
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, Fuzzy is so nice for that.
We got one that doesn't like to be petted, and the other one, if you rub his belly, he'll take your arm off. So you might want to try somebody else.
I'm going to think about these excellent ideas that everybody had. And I think, you know, like one thing I could do is I could definitely teach a small class, like, for example, a depth of field class on Zoom. And I feel like that's something I could totally handle and deliver. And I think it's good to keep people's appetites whetted. You know, if we need to go over Zoom, then we need to deliver small little things like this for people. And I'm willing to do something like that because that's doable.
Okay, great.
So
Thank you.
Put that there.
All right.
We'll,
Welcome to the board.
Madeline, you want to get in touch with Laura and get something set up on that? Get it scheduled?
It sounds like, again, do you want that as a monthly meeting or do you want that as a separate kind of workshop class?
No, it wouldn't have to be at a monthly meeting. It could be anytime. Whatever fits in.
I would prefer it to be separate.
Yeah, so I think just come up with a time you want to do it.
Okay. I will.
When you could do it, and if it's a one-shot deal, or if you want it as an ongoing thing, or you know, develop what your idea is, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, I will. Okay, you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome aboard,
Bye.
Alyssa.
Yep. See ya.
Have a good week. Have a good couple. See you next week. I hope at Critique if I can make it this week.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you,
Last
Larissa.
Nice to meet
All right.
you too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Anything else for the organizers, or is it good night, everybody?
It's good night.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Try to stay cool.
Yeah.
You're hunkering down again.
Went to a meeting at the fair today.
Oh, yeah.
You went to what? A meeting
Went
for
to
the
a
fair?
meeting at the fair, yeah. Got to go to another one tomorrow, and then we got intake on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. I'm scheduled to be there on Friday, I know.
Yep.
Are they doing any, well, everybody's in masks again, right?
Yeah, they're and they're going to have people at the doors. They're going to have signs everywhere. They'll have masks to give out if you don't have one. They're wanting.
It'd be interesting to see if they can maintain social distancing.
I expect them to limit the number in attendance inside any building.
That makes sense. That would do it.
Yeah. And they're wanting all volunteers and employee and staff members to, if they've been vaccinated, to show them their proof of vaccination. It's not a requirement because they said nobody would be turned away if they were not vaccinated, but their insurance company said they need this information for contact tracing. And they said only one person in the, good job, only one person in the front office would see this information. So it's kept confidential. I sent out an email to all the volunteers and my judges and everybody else today. So
I got it, Rick.
Okay, good.
Yeah, well, we're hunkering down again. We're back into welcome to COVIDville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went down to Focal Point today because one person didn't want to come on entry day with her young son because he hadn't been vaccinated yet. So I told her I'd just drop him off and I'd pick him up.
Yeah.
Nice.
And got into a discussion. I won't call it an argument because no voices are raised with a guy who he started out saying he'd been vaccinated and then started telling me all this stuff about how everything was politicians were just trying to keep it going so they could bankrupt the country. And I said, could you possibly explain to me how it would benefit the politicians to bankrupt the country? And he couldn't explain that.
Good question.
He definitely believed it was what was happening.
Yeah.
He said, they're having a ball keeping this thing going. And I said, I am pretty sure they'd like for everybody in the country to get vaccinated so they could move on to something else.
Yep.
He didn't believe me. And when he left, I turned around to the guy that was standing behind him listening to all this. And I said, this is why I don't go out in public. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, it's hard, but I've been hearing too many things about breakthrough cases too. We know a nurse who, we were at the hospital for some care in one of the clinics there, and the nurse there had recovered from COVID. She was vaccinated, and she didn't know that it was actually the Delta variant. And so these, it's a lot. There's 20% of the cases are breakthrough cases.
I've heard it's a whole lot less than that.
Yeah, I don't think it's that many. And they've no vaccine for anything is 100% effective.
Oh, right.
But if you're vaccinated and you get it, your chances are you're not going to die and you're not going to be as sick, and there won't be as many long-term consequences.
Right.
Unless you're me, because of my kidney transplant, my immunity is so low.
Oh, yeah.
The estimate is that the effectiveness of the vaccine is only 15%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so I am being extremely cautious.
Yeah, and you should. And
my husband as well. Although my husband doesn't have that. I mean, he's fine. He's got his conditions, but not immune. But he's looking out for me too. Sure. So we're back into hunker down mode, pretty much.
You did mention a booster shot thing coming up.
If it's ever available.
And approved, evidently by the FDA.
Can't hear you, Scott.
Oh, evidently approved by the FDA. A booster shot on the works.
Oh.
Yeah, they're saying, some people are saying the booster is just a third shot, and others are saying that there's a booster being developed to fend off the variants. So there's two different talks of what the booster will actually be. Right now, I think in Israel, they're giving boosters, but it's the third of the same shot.
Right.
It's the third shot.
Yeah.
I got sick after a month after I had my second shot.
A month after?
Yes.
With COVID?
Yeah, I don't know. I tested negative. I actually went and got a test, but by that time I was 3 or 4 days into it. and who knows? But anyway, and I don't think I'm guessing it probably wasn't the Delta because it wasn't raging yet, like it is now. But I was running a low grade temperature and had all the congestion. I have all the symptoms except I didn't really notice a loss of taste or smell, but my nose was so congested. How could I smell anything? So anyway, I don't know. If they have a booster, I'm going to go get it.
Yep.
I got the shingles shot, the pneumonia shot. I'll get whatever the heck they tell me to get.
Yeah.
I'm with you with those.
I don't want shingles. I don't want pneumonia.
See, I can't take the shingles shot. I'm not sure why. I know the flu is also attenuated vaccine, but I can't take the shingles because it's a live vaccine, they've told me. I can't take yellow fever shots. They're few. I can take pneumonia, but I take the children's version of it.
I got
and I can take a flu shot.
I got the shingle shot. Oh, my goodness, it was almost $200 because I hadn't done my copay for the year and I had to pay it. Ouch.
Yeah.
To get the second one before the end of this year.
Yeah, I believe I would have waited until I got the copay in.
Well, yeah. But anyway.
Mine was free down at Rite Aid. No, I got the shingle shot at Rite Aid.
What else have you guys been up to?
Well, let's see. I covered the bike MS ride out at Monmouth.
Oh, nice.
When was that?
I didn't get a notice on that this year.
They contacted me directly, and I didn't know whether they contacted anybody else in the club. I was the only photographer there.
Yeah, I've shot that thing for years and years, and always scheduled a meetup.
It wasn't. There weren't a lot of people. I would say about a third of their normal contingent, and it was just a one-day thing instead of two. But I stood on that pavement for 6 hours, banging away.
Did they do shorter rides this year?
I honestly, I don't know. I just covered the start and finish.
Oh, okay.
But it was fun. People were great. So,
did any of you guys do the triathlon thing, the Ironman?
No, I got a lot of emails about that, but I wasn't going to get into that crowd.
I went out at 8:30 in the morning because they were going right by my house because I live downtown. So I figured, okay, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll see what's going on. And there was nobody. I mean, there were hardly any bike. They were just finishing the first swim run.
Yeah.
So I got some lone bikers panning, but there were no crowds at that time. So I felt safe. It was like, okay. I started out taking it from my window and realized there was nobody out there. But I agree. That's why I didn't go down to the park either.
Well, I've been asked to do that, but that was the day we left for Coeur d'Alene, so I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I got a bunch of emails about it from a guy named Rick. Who was coordinating. And
did you pass those along, or were those personally to you, or were they to the club?
They were to me, but I emailed him. Well, I went first. I clicked the link that he sent to volunteer, and there were no slots for photographers. So I emailed him and told him, well, I don't see anything for photographers. And he said, well, we use professional photographers. Gave me a link to their website, and I went and looked at it. I've been shooting these bike and walk MS events, and my photos are twice as good as anything they've got on their professional website.
Yeah.
I need to go look at that.
There were a bunch of snapshots.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't think anything when I looked at it. I wasn't looking for that with that in mind, but it didn't look very impressive. No.
That's it. I didn't want to volunteer to hand out water or check people in, or I said I just told him I wasn't interested. Plus, I didn't want to be in the crowd either way.
Yeah.
But if I could have been assigned someplace on the road to shoot the bicycle ride or something like that, that would have been different, because you could get away from crowds that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what I did, and I wasn't out there that long.
And the same thing about that hoopla, David.
I didn't go after that at all.
Yeah, David Barker went, and no, Scott went, and David said he thought he was about the only person around with a mask on, but I'm assuming Scott had one on too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go out for that. That just seemed like it was too many crowds.
Yeah.
Hey, Max. He's connecting to audio.
Hey, Max.
Hey, Max.
Max, did you go up to Silverton the other day?
Yep, he posted some pictures today.
Oh, I missed that. I haven't seen those yet. All right, good for you. I've been home cooking. I seems to be photography is sort of like right now. It's sort of I've lost my fojo, as they say. So I'm more into cooking. Food's getting really good here. Food's getting really good, I tell you.
Well, we may be over.
Anytime. Just let me know so I make sure there's enough.
No, I'm sure you'd make me welcome. I know that.
Absolutely. And you know where I live. Hey, just come on and ring the doorbell.
Trying to get my cat to come join the picture here, but no, he's waiting to go out. It'll get hot. Oh, gee, it's dropped to 97 here.
Is that all?
Oh, yeah. Have to open the windows.
Wow, yeah. It's getting cooler.
I cleaned the.
This morning was nice.
I cleaned the condenser on my air conditioner yesterday.
Good idea.
It was, I don't think it had ever been cleaned, and it's probably 15 years old. There was a 1/2 inch of crud caked on the outside of it. And I have a big shop vac and it plugged it up.
Wow.
Just getting that stuff off, but it sure works a lot better.
When we had the last heat wave, I got a little mister like you would use if you were misting plants or well, only fit on the end of a hose.
Yeah.
And I just left it run on those coils and it seemed to make quite a difference.
Oh.
You don't only used a quart of water a minute. I mean,
that's a good idea.
We are in the middle of a drought, however.
I'm sure I saved that much in electricity.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at Lowe's the other day getting something, and they had those mister hoses on sale, and I almost bought one. It's one that you can kind of bend and have it stand up by itself. I was tempted, but then I thought, I can't use it inside, so what's the point?
Birds would like it.
Yeah.
Max, were you using yours outside? Is that what you were saying?
Right, on the coils outside.
Okay.
Because the air was hot and then the coils were hot, and if you can create some additional differential in the temperature, the unit works a lot more efficiently.
That's a good idea.
If you're going to be outside, yeah.
Yeah.
We only have air conditioning in the living room here. They told us when we moved in that it's never that hot in Oregon, so we wouldn't need it in the bedrooms. And the main bedroom is fine. We have a lot of fans going, but the quote guest bedroom, which is the multi-purpose room, it's just incredibly hot in there. I mean, it'd be great if I wanted to do a sauna today, or dry the clothes, do laundry and let the clothes dry in there. But other than that, it's horrendous.
Well, years ago, actually shortly after we bought our house, the electric heat pump that was there gave up the ghost. And so we opted to buy a gas furnace. And the guy says, well, for $500 more, we can put an air conditioner unit on it. And I thought, well, this is Oregon. We don't need air conditioners. then I thought, well, maybe for resale value, maybe it's a good idea. And so we did. That was the best $500 I ever spent.
I was listening to, there's a news program called Newsy, which is, it's very young reporters, and their tagline is information, not influence. So you do get news, but Oregon made it to the news for the heat wave.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was telling my cousin about the upcoming heat wave. Well, we're in the middle of it now, but he said, I didn't know it got that hot out there. And I said, well, we're having the hottest summer on record. Climate change is real. And he said, climate's been changing for hundreds of years. So I quit not changing.
You keep running into these folks. You are like a magnet for these
This
people.
is my cousin.
Yeah.
I ran into him about 70 years ago.
Yeah, I ran into a fellow at the post office today. And I reminded him that the governor had required masks for people who are indoors. He said, do we have to obey the governor? And I said, well, if you care about your community. And he said, well, Jesus has got my back. And I said, you may be seeing him sooner than you plan.
Good response.
Yeah.
Sorry, hope I'm not offending anybody.
Well,
I just wonder if that guy has a gun. You know, there's people are saying, you know, that's one of the tagline, the lines that are going around. If Jesus is going to protect you from everything, do you also need a gun? Because so many of the people who are pro gun are also that freedom. Not to paint with a broad brush, but
I can't.
Logic sometimes eludes me.
I hear somebody, but I can't see where it's coming from.
I got a new Logitech
there you are.
camera and microphone. Do I look okay?
You look lovely.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
The light's terrible, but anyway, I don't have to log in twice now.
I knew something was different.
Yeah.
We only have one Catherine.
I just gotta figure out, I want to zoom it a little tighter to me. Matt's got a camera on himself that he fills up the screen, and I haven't quite figured out how to do that with this thing yet. I know
You
it'll
just need to come up here.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I could do that. Hi.
You know how cameras
Yeah, and
work.
I have a small laptop.
Well,
That's why
I
I'm
do,
so
but I'm
good.
trying to find the controls on the computer because it's computer control. There's software, and I'm looking to see if the camera software is running. Sorry,
It
don't
must
mind me.
be.
I'm just like, you'll see me looking around here. I'm looking to see what's possibly.
If you can zoom in with your camera, does your
I
camera
have
have
a
a
lot-
zoom function?
I have a Logitech camera, and it has quite elaborate software that came with it, but it takes a little bit of time to get it set up.
I just installed it and it seemed to work fine, but you would think I would have. Hold on, I'm fooling around. If I disappear, I'll log back in, okay?
Yeah.
Sounds
Nope.
like a plan.
Don't see, nope. Okay. I can't find where the controls are for the darn Zoom camera. I'll have to do some research on it, obviously, before the next meeting. Okay. Video settings. Aha! All right. Go ahead, don't mind me. I'm just gonna mess around here. Okay. What says touch up my appearance?
I could use that.
Well,
Just
I
add
was looking
some-
up
add some hair.
videos today on how to cut my own hair. It's like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Well, it just says that's about all the option. It just for low light, touch up my appearance, mirror my video.
On my screen, it said touch up my appearance, and
wait.
you looked at your screen, and then it suddenly switched to John.
That's not making it any better.
I'm surprised you can't zoom in with the camera then.
Well, you can. When I launched the software for the video, for the Logitech, but apparently I don't have that running or something. Don't ask me.
Rick, how many people said they were coming to the meeting tonight? Do you know?
The last time I checked, I think it was like 15.
Okay.
Laura signed up just a little while ago.
I haven't seen her in a while. Stephanie's in. We've got Larissa.
Oh yeah, she signed up this afternoon. We'll give it a few more minutes to see if everybody gets here. Let's see here. Oh, Madeline, I talked with Dave Fuller. It's been over a week ago now. But he said that he had a suggestion. He thought we ought to be teaching Photoshop. So I told him you were on that. Are you on that?
Yeah, I'm going to start. I need to set that up and come up with a time for it. And
Okay.
again, my thing would be very different from how most people are doing Photoshop. Mine is like, here's tricks to get something done. You know, easy tricks as far as I go to get something done. You want to change, adjust the color, I can do that. So it'll be really, it's Photoshop hacks. It's not learning Photoshop. It's shortcut.
Catherine,
So I will set that up and find out who's interested. If we can send out an email and find out who's interested in doing that, and see if we can do it at a time, because one of the concerns was doing it either before the critique or before this meeting. One of those 2 nights. So I can just set it up as an announcement and say I'll do it one of those days and see who signs on. Would that work? All right, let's do that. So we'll put an announcement. I can put it something on the meetup page and we can send out an email.
Sure.
Okay.
Catherine, are you running a PC?
What?
Do you have a PC?
Yes,
I'm asking. Who are you asking?
Click on your start menu and then go to your list of programs. Go down to Logitech.
Okay, hold on.
And there is a folder of Logitech camera settings.
Okay, I'm looking at it.
Open that up and you should have the controls that you're looking for.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure.
I just needed to figure out. I'll keep looking.
So it looks like we've got 13 people with us.
Yep. Laura just joined.
Mary here. Hi, Stephanie, David, Larissa, Laura, and Mary.
Where'd Mary go?
Mary's in front of the
Oh,
tulips.
Hi.
Hello.
There's Stephanie.
Sorry I'm late.
Look at those tulips. My
You're not
goodness.
late. We haven't started yet.
We've been chatting.
And there's David. Hello, David. Well, I guess we might as well go ahead and get started. We got, I think 15 people were signed up and we got 14. That's close enough. And it's 7:03. I was looking on our meetup site and doesn't look like we have anything scheduled coming up. So I don't think we have a whole lot of announcements unless anybody's got something they want to share. Nothing? Okay.
I have a question about Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah, is the fair thing still going on? I assume yes.
Yeah, we had I was telling them earlier, we had a meeting today, and the fair is going to be observing all of the recommended social distancing, mask requirements, excuse me, and that sort of thing. If you're volunteering, they'll be sending out a release. And there's a box on it to check whether you've been vaccinated or not. And I don't understand that box because they said they wanted to see a card. So it's for their insurance purposes, for contact tracing if it's needed. It's not anything that's going to be shared. Anyway,
They want,
yeah, everything's going on. Huh?
they want proof of the poke.
Yeah. But they said nobody will be rejected or turned away for not having the poke. So I guess if you decided you were vaccinated and you just didn't want to tell anybody about it, and you could say, I'm not vaccinated, and they'd say, okay, and go along with that. But if there was any contact tracing, you'd be scooped up.
Yeah.
I assume. I don't know. Things are changing every day. So
it's not my call to make, but I think it's really questionable whether the state fair should go forward.
Well, I said pretty much the same thing to Sean this afternoon.
Yeah.
The entries are way down. I expect the attendance to be way down, just like it has been in all the county fairs. But that will actually be a good thing for those of us that are there. We won't have those massive crowds we usually do. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. They're talking about closing buildings early and doing a lot of things to try to control stuff. And there's going to be people stationed around. One of the things you have to wear a mask. That is a requirement. And if somebody refuses to wear a mask, they don't want us to be charged with being enforcement. We've got phone numbers for security, and they're right next door. They'll be there in an instant, and they'll deal with it. And if they can't deal with it, there's 20 state police on the fairgrounds. So somebody will deal with it. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll all be back to normal next year.
Well, I'll be there Saturday morning.
Okay, appreciate that. Bring a mask and your card.
No problem.
Okay. I asked him if it was okay to take a picture of your card, because that's what I did. I've got it on my phone, and I haven't gotten an answer yet. But if I hear something on that, I'll get the word out to everybody.
Also, places like Office Max or Office Depot, whatever it's called, they'll make copies and laminate them for you. And if you want, they'll make it wallet size, so it's easier to carry around, and they don't charge for that. It's a public service.
Didn't know that. That's good information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was told that they don't want the cards laminated in case we have to have boosters or something like that.
It's a copy that's laminated. It's not the original. They take a copy and laminate that. And as I said, they can do it full size or they can do it wallet size. So we did ours wallet size. Oh. And the first one's free. If you want more copies or more lamination, then they charge you.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if there's no more COVID business, we can move on to Salem digital photography business.